Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So more of my story. This gets into the part that a lot of people don't know, just because at this point I had completely isolated myself. Um, I chronic illness in and of itself is very isolating, but I did not have any energy or bandwidth to reach out to anybody. So we had just seen the doctor. We had just figured out that it was not Epstein-Barr virus, and so we needed to figure out what it was. And so my iron was extremely low, and so the first thing that my doctor wanted to do was give me 5 iron transfusions, and if my iron did not go up after that, he was going to give me a blood transfusion. So at this point, I went once a week to the hospital to get an iron transfusion. They were pretty painful. I had to go to a lab in order to do that, and I had to ride in a wheelchair because I was not able to go inside. So my husband or my mom she would fly out about once a month there towards the end, and so she was there sometimes to go to those appointments with me, and so they would push my wheelchair in, and I was pretty light at the time. I was about 118, and I was almost completely bald, so I would wear a hat and or a headscarf or really whatever I had to not show my peach fuzz head. So Ryan was still working at the time. Ryan was my husband, and he would work really long days and then actually work late and then stay in the car even when he got home. Later, I found out it was because he thought he was gonna walk inside and find me dead, and he just didn't want that. And so he would find ways of not coming in the house, not coming to find me, because that was like a really big fear for him. And my mom would fly back and forth. She would pay for a ticket, and then we would pay for a ticket for her. And she was really great at making sure I had food. And during this time, I was not able to get up and walk to the kitchen to get anything. And so she would have like applesauce or Lara bars or something like that next to the bed where I could eat throughout the day. My husband at the time would also make me dinner when he got home or breakfast before he left. But other than that, I just relied on the snacks next to the bed for anything I needed throughout the day. My photosensitivity was acute. I would basically lay in a completely dark room all day long, and I could see fine and any light at all, and I couldn't sleep. And I would I couldn't watch TV. That was too much for me. It was very hard for me to talk to people as well, like on the phone or anything like that. Certainly not have anybody over. So I just kind of disappeared. I just, that word disappeared, is pretty much what it felt like the whole time, because my weight was completely gone. My hair was completely gone. And I felt like myself was completely gone. And I really craved that stillness. I craved silence. I craved dark. I craved just anything being blank. I wanted nothing. I wanted to be nothing. And during that time, the pain left too. It was like I didn't have enough going on, or maybe my body just like stopped registering pain or something like that. But I stopped being in pain, and it was just my rapid heart rate hanging out around 200, even while lying down, even while resting. And that was the only thing I remember feeling, was just my heart rate going crazy all the time, but I wasn't in pain. I stopped being hungry. I had severe nausea there for a while, but that kind of went away too. I wasn't hungry anymore. And then 3 days before I went into the hospital for the next round, I I stopped wanting to drink. So any water would make me nauseous. So I wasn't eating. I had stopped drinking water. I remember my mom trying to convince me to drink just anything at all. And I think I drank 2 sips. And, you know, whenever your mom like wants you to do something, it's like you go for it. But I remember actually like turning away from the water, and I was like, I don't want it anymore. I couldn't feed myself. My mom or my husband had to feed me during that time. And I had a lot of nights where I was not sure I was going to wake up the next day. And, you know, my mom and my husband would encourage me to, you know, maybe we should call a doctor, or maybe like this isn't normal or something like that. And I didn't want to go to the hospital. I didn't want to go through any of that. And then finally, the last day, it was like nothing worked. Like my limbs wouldn't work, nothing would work, and they convinced me to go into the hospital. And I, you know, just to have an emergency appointment. I think the appointment was later that day or something with the doctor. And I was like, okay, well, I haven't showered in like 5 days, so I'm just gonna take a quick rinse and put on deodorant, and then we can go. And I made it to the shower, and that was it. And I actually turned on the shower and then collapsed on the floor. And so my mom came in, my husband called the nurse on call, and they said, get an ambulance, get her there. Well, we lived like maybe 6 minutes away from the hospital, so we just drove. The thing you didn't know about ambulances is the ambulance get first attention going to the hospital. So we ended up waiting in the waiting room for, I think it was like 2 to 4 hours, somewhere in there. It felt like a year. And I remember looking at my mom and my husband, and I'm not like a really big, you know, back talker for either of them. And I remember looking at them very seriously and just being like, fuck you guys, because I wanted to die. Like, I wanted to die at home. I felt like there was like nothing forward for me. So I was pretty dead serious about that. Obviously, they admitted me right away when I went into the hospital, when they finally got a chance to see me. And my blood pressure kept bottoming out. I think it was like 50, like 70 over 50 or something like that there for a minute. And one of the nurses, she was like kind of a new nurse, and she was asking the other nurse, they thought I couldn't hear because I was basically catatonic. But I could hear them, and she said, should we call a doctor? Like, we need to call a code on her. And then the older nurse said she was half gone when she came in. And it didn't even register as like good or bad or anything. It was just like, yeah, I'm about to die. Like, I'm gonna die any minute. I wish God would get this thing going, because like I'm tired of waiting here. And that was the thing. Like, I had total peace during that time. It was like I was ready to go, and I knew it was imminent and going to happen soon. And every minute that I was still here, I would get frustrated, because it was like, when is this going to happen? Like, I literally know that I'm going to die. Like, I can feel myself dying, and I'm still here. And so the doctor came and treated me in the hospital. My primary care doctor came and treated me in the hospital, and they sent away for the ANA test to test lupus, and it came back positive. And so I finally had an answer after all of that. And I was in the hospital for, I think it was a week. That time, just trying to get me back to the place where I was able to be stable at home. And so, yeah, that's where I'm going to leave this one, because the next one jumps through even more hoops of what that was like. But thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry this one was a little bit heavier. You didn't have to live it though, so see you guys later.